Hey everyone, welcome to my escape. Today we're going to do another requested video because I love when you guys request videos and it makes me very excited and very happy to make. This video was requested by Lindsey Tastic over on my book terms video, so thank you so much for that. I love when you guys comment. I love reading the comments. And she requested I do the book recommendation tag that Steph or created. I'm just gonna put the name there. I'm terrible at pronouncing names. I'm so sorry. But I will link her video down in the description below. And you can definitely go check out the original. So I'm ready to go. Let's get into it. So the first question is a book that you tell people is your favorite. This question brings me anxiety. I hate when people ask me this because I don't know how to answer it, because automatically my brain goes to the last book I read that I enjoyed, or the last book I read that I loved, not necessarily my favorite of all time, but also it very, very much depends on who's asking. Like, is it like a stranger in the street, or is it like my best friend, you know? Is it something that I have to answer with an appropriate answer, or something that I could like go a little like spicier with? I never know, okay? You don't understand how much stress this question brings. Why are we starting the video here? So generally speaking, I just said The Night Circus because it's been my favorite since like grade 9, or one of my top 5 favorites of all time, and it's just my go-to answer to like pull that out. Whether that's true or not, or like relevant up until this day, I don't know, but I hate that question. So generally I'll ask for like more details, like are they looking for a recommendation or are they just making conversation? And if they're looking for a recommendation, like what are their genres that they like? What tropes do they like? What vibes do they like? Stuff like that. I really try to like curtail it because my favorites are all over the place and I can never pick just one. And then people ask that question and my mind goes blank. I couldn't even tell you a single book I read. Stress. That question is stress. The book that's my guilty pleasure. I'm gonna go with the Strange Angel series by Lily St. Croix. Again, don't own this series here at school. It's back home. I remember absolutely crushing these books, and I don't really remember what they're about, but I do remember that I was like embarrassed to be reading these, and I was like, I know that these are so bad, like they are so bad. And it was like everything that like it shouldn't have been, like the characters were all like Mary Sue's and like everything like that. So I even remember like reading it and being like, oh, I should not be enjoying this, but I did. I enjoyed it and I crushed the whole series. So I feel like that would be a guilty pleasure. It's not something that I've ever gone back to, but it is something that is like stuck in my mind that's been like, you know what? Sometimes trash is the best way to go. A book everyone loved, but I didn't. I'm gonna go with A Court of Thorns and Roses. This is huge, and if it's your favorite, I'm sorry. Like the main series, so I had never heard of it. And when I jumped on the book platforms last year, it was everywhere, and I was like, I'm going to like love this so much. It's everything I love. It's fantasy, it's fae, it's like almost YA but not quite. Like, it's gonna be great. So I actually postponed it till the summer, so that it's like 5 books or something like that. So I was like, well, I know myself, I'm gonna want to like crush book after book after book after book. So I postponed it to the spring or the summer after I was done school. And it took me 4 months to actually get through the first one. Like, I just had no interest in it, and it was so slow. And like, there were some good things, I will give it that. Like, I can understand like why the hype is there, but for me it was too slow in the beginning, and the only interesting parts happened in like the first chapter of the book and the last like quarter of the book. Those two were really good, but that whole middle section, I was like, I'm bored. Like, I'm bored. So I didn't love that one. So that was kind of like a letdown because it gets hyped up so much, and I like want to be a part of the hype, but at the same time I'm not there. I'm sorry. Okay, so the next tag is a book you read the fastest. So I tend to read everything fast-ish, like comparatively. So if you're on my Goodreads, don't be like, oh my god, she crushed this in a day, she must have loved it. Not necessarily true. That's just how I read. One series though that really stands out to me, and I don't know if this is a cheat because it's a series, but it's the first 3 books in the From Blood and Ash series. Oh my god, did I crush these, and oh my god, did I not have the time to crush these. I sat down and like I did not get back up until this is done. This is like 600 pages, and I like did not get up until this was done. I blew everything off, and then I immediately went to the store and I picked up the second book, and I was like, I need to know, I need to know, I need to know. Absolutely crushed this, crushed this, and then went to the store and picked up the third book, and they're all like 600 pages. Like, these are not skinny books. I couldn't put it down. I had to know. I was obsessed with the characters. I loved everything. I still love everything about these books. These are like my comfort reads now after I finished all three of them. So I read each of these in about a day and a half. I had a couple things like I couldn't get out of, but I think I actually ended up like skipping a class or two because I could not pull my mind out of these. So I was like, what is the point of even going to class when all I'm going to do is be thinking about these? So I just stayed home and like read. And that's so bad. Like, I literally pay for university and was getting class to read these. Like, I missed so much in those like, what, 4.5 days because I would not put these down. I wouldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Book that deserves more hype, I think, is Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies. Okay? Like, I don't understand why this isn't everywhere, because it's everything that Bookstagram and like BookTube would want it to be, but it's Pride and Prejudice, so like the OG enemies to lovers, like one of the best classics out there, aka the only classic that I actually like. Pride and Prejudice plus zombies. So there's your fantasy. So you have enemies to lovers, you have your fantasy, you have your like classic vibes, you have Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy and zombies, and they fight zombies together. What? Like, I don't understand why this isn't literally plastered everywhere. I freaking love it. I love it. Pride and Prejudice is the only classic I've actually like enjoyed reading. It's just, they're not really my vibe. And I love Pride and Prejudice, have done a couple rereads through it. And then Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies is like basically like a fan fiction, but it's not like it's a published book, but like it's basically a fan fiction of Pride and Prejudice, to the point where like some of the lines will be like exactly the same. So like the opening line of Pride and Prejudice is something like, don't exactly quote me on this, but it's something like, a man who possesses a large fortune must be in want of a wife, or something like that. And then the opening line of Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies, again, don't quote me on this, but it's something like, a zombie in possession of brains must be in want of more brains, or something like that. So it's like it's the same wordings, just like with zombies included. It's everything to me. I love it so much. I do own it. Again, it's back home. Maybe I should have done this book tag back home, but that's just not gonna be for a couple months. So we're doing it now. I'll put the picture on the screen, and yeah, then the rest of my collection will just continue to sit in totes back home. Okay, the next tag is a book that is becoming a movie or a TV show. I'm gonna go with Vampire Academy. Okay, I know there's some other ones that I could throw out there, but I wanted to do Vampire Academy because I think I'm gonna do a reread of this in the summer. Again, I own the series, it's back home. And I crushed the books, loved them, loved that series. You can judge me for that, absolutely, because you know what, that's valid. But also, loved it. And now there is a TV show out about it, but I'm including this under this tag because I haven't seen the TV show, but I'm going to. But I'm nervous because I did love the book so much, and because I saw the movie first, the like actress of the main character like imprinted on my brain as her, so I'm like, ugh, it's a new cast. The TV show trailers look like a little too like angsty for me, so we'll see. But I do think I'm gonna do a reread of the series and try to watch some of the TV show this summer. A book from a genre you don't typically read. So one I kind of hype up to everyone who likes like wartime books, but not like in like not battle stories, but like wartime books like World War I, World War II, like that kind of like historical book. I always say Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society, which is a mouthful. It is a mouthful. It's a very weird title, yes, but that book is beautiful. It's set on the islands of Guernsey, like in between Britain and Germany, I think, and it's set like during and after World War II. The main character lives in London after the war, and she is a writer, and she starts a mail correspondence with somebody on the island of Guernsey, and they just send letters back and forth like for like half the book or something like that. And it was just so interesting to read a book in that format. Plus the story is like really like, you feel like you're there, you feel like you're in it, the world and all the characters, and it was like a beautiful story. I love it. I know the title is weird, okay? Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society does not just roll off the tongue, but if you like that kind of book, or you like slow burn romances, or you just want to read a book in a cool format, because again, letters back and forth is like half the book, you should pick it up, 100%. A book that deserves all the hype it gets. I had a couple on this list. It was like hard to narrow down, and I felt like I've already talked about them a lot. So I'm gonna go with something that I haven't mentioned in this video or for a while, and that's The Spanish Love Deception. I do think that this book deserves the hype it gets. You always have your haters, but to me, like, this was everything a contemporary romance should be. Like, it was cute, I liked the characters, I liked the setting, the friends could have been like a little more fleshed out, but like, they went to Spain. Aaron, the male main character, was adorable. I adore him. There was like a weird backstory thing. It was everything it should be. It made me happy, it made me laugh, made me smile, made me forget about time. It's a contemporary romance, and you should be happy with it. Question 10 is a book you would usually recommend when asked to give a recommendation. Again, this really depends on who is asking. Okay, so if they're like science fiction or new to science fiction, I would say Ender's Game. If they want like a high fantasy, I would definitely go with In the Name of the Wind, which is a very recent read for me. I just finished it last month. Go check my wrap up for that. I am obsessed with it, so it's number one on my high fantasy list now. And if it was like a fantasy romance, I would probably go with From Blood and Ash. There's just like so many things. I would like break it down by like sub genre, really see like what they're interested in, that sort of stuff. So that one really depends on who's asking and what are they looking for. A book that has your favorite character. I've already told you about From Blood and Ash. I'm gonna go with the Mindfuck series, okay? I freaking love Lana Myers. Oh my god, she is amazing. Amazing. Nobody does revenge like her. Nobody does revenge like her. I adore her. I adore her. Pick it up, read it. It's 5 stories, but they're all really short. Like, they're all like novella lengths between like 80 and like 120 pages or something like that. So the collection is like 600 pages or something like that. It keeps you on your toes. They all end in cliffhangers. It's freaking amazing. Absolutely loved. Picture FBI serial killer profiler dating a female serial killer. That's all I need. That's all I need. Lana Myers, yes, go read the Mindfuck series. Check your triggers. A book you wish you could live in. I'm gonna be honest, most of the books I read, I would die if I lived in them. I don't have that will to keep going, you know, without running water and being chased by people that want to kill me. I really don't have that perseverance. I'd be like, okay, like, it's my time to go. I'm out of soap, you know? So I don't think I really want to be in many of the worlds I live in. I would. So if I could like be guaranteed that I was gonna be like a special person in one of these worlds, aka the universe is like looking out for me a little bit, or I have powers, or I have something that puts me slightly above everyone that's trying to kill me, then I would want to be in like a fantasy world that has dragons but also still has like rights for women, you know? Those don't often go hand in hand, but I would like a fantasy world with like fantasy beasts. I would like to have powers, and I would like to have rights. Not necessarily in that order, but give me those worlds. Any world that is that, yes, I will take, I will accept, I will embrace. 14 is a book that made you cry. I don't generally read books to cry. It's why I haven't read Song of Achilles yet, because why am I putting myself through the emotional ringer? I already get too invested in characters. I get too invested in like anything fictional I'm immersed in. No, I don't want to be set out to make cry, because I'll cry if they like stub their toe. I'll be like, oh my god, are you okay? Like, don't do this to me. Like, are you okay? Like, really let me know. So I don't really read books set out to make me cry, but one book when I think about it that, not necessarily the last one I cried in, but a book that I know made me bawl ugly tears is Moon Over Manifest. I have not read that for years, but I still remember the ending, like, kind of. I remember the vibes of the ending. I remember it destroyed me. I remember I just like put it down and just sobbed while I was going through it, sobbed in the end. Oh, that's a book that made me cry for sure. I also cried in From Blood and Ash. Sorry. I literally cry and like any slight thing happens and I'm like in fiction and I'm like, it's not okay. So yeah. Doesn't necessarily mean the book is designed to make you cry, but Moon Over Manifest is one that actually hits you in the feels, and I feel like other people it hit in the feels too. Okay. The last one is a book you wish you could read for the first time. I can't say From Blood and Ash on every single one, but like that would be on there. But Ender's Game, I 100% would like to read for the first time. I reread it in February, and it's still so good, but the ending, it leaves you like stunned. You're like, that did not just happen. So I, unfortunately, when I was a child, I watched the movie before I read the book, so I knew what the ending was coming at, but even reading the book, like, it still hits hard. So if I could go into something like completely new, completely fresh, like no spoilers of any kind being known, it would be Ender's Game, because just for that like ending reveal, that's a roller coaster I would like to ride for the first time. But yeah, that was the recommended book tag video by Steph Borer. Again, I'm probably saying that wrong. I'll put it on the screen. This is her name. I'll link her video and her name down in the description below. Thank you to Lindsey Tastic for recommending a video. If anybody else would like to recommend a video, let me know in the comments. I love requested videos. I have changed my schedule a little bit, so normally I post every Tuesday and Friday. However, a bunch of stuff is in the gears and life is getting very busy for the next like 6 weeks or so. So I'm going down to 1 video a week till the end of April, and then in May I should be back up to 2 videos a week. So just like have that out as a heads up. I might throw an extra video out on Tuesdays here and there, but you will be getting a video every single Friday. And then in May, I should be picking up those Tuesday ones again. So thanks for sticking around, ring that bell for notifications, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye!